Hello, everyone. Alex Caserta here, and I'll be doing a 2021 NFL mock draft, picks 1 through 10. And I think that, well, I hope I'm accurate, but let's just go in. So, for our first pick, we got Trevor Lawrence going to the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's probably the best QB prospect since Andrew Luck. And I think Jacksonville's going to rebuild. I think they have like 77 million um in their cap so they can sign some free agents and then get Trevor Lawrence for a franchise QB. I think this is a great pick for them. I think in about 2 to 3 years that they're gonna start getting back on their feet and they're gonna start um being a contender in their division. Now with the Texans, they're the opposite right now. They just released JJ Watt. They might trade Deshaun Watson. Um, and with that happening, really the only other contender is the Titans and the Colts. But the Colts just got Carson Wentz, so we'll see how that plays out. So yeah, Jacksonville Jaguars, Trevor Lawrence. He's 6'6", 220 pounds. A lot of people don't realize that he's also a running quarterback. If you watch some of his highlights, he is a running quarterback. He has a lot of rushing touchdowns. And yeah, so for our next pick, we got Zach Wilson. Um, See, the Jets can take Zach Wilson. He's the second best quarterback in my opinion to come out of the draft. They can also sign like Penei Sewell, or some people are saying Jamar Chase, but I think this is their guy. This is their franchise QB. He has 33 touchdown passes in 2020 with only 3 interceptions. I think that ranked like 21st overall, which is really, really good. So he's a kid from BYU. Very tough. You can watch some of his highlights too. I think this is a great pick for the Jets, unless they want to take Justin Fields is another good option, or I wouldn't even be surprised if they took Trey Lance. Um, but yeah, Zach Wilson heading over to the Jets. You know what would be smart if they wanted to? They could trade with the Falcons and get their first pick, go back to number 4, and the Falcons could go to number 2, and they can maybe get some players on the Falcons or get some more picks so they can get some more players out of this year's draft. And even if the Falcons were to take Zach Wilson, Trey Lance and Justin Fields and Mac Jones would all be on the board. So I think whatever the Jets do with this pick, if they trade, if they draft Zach Wilson, if they draft Penei Sewell, if they draft Justin Fields, it's going to be a win-win. My next pick going to the Miami Dolphins, I got Jamar Chase. I put 2019 stats because he did opt out of the 2020 season. Um, he had 107 receptions for over 2,000 yards, which was better than Devontae Smith's stats this year, and he won the Heisman. So they can go with him or even Penei Sewell. To protect Tua. If they get Penei Sewell, they would have a young offensive line. I think they got what was it? His last name was I think it was Austin Jackson last year. They got him. But this is going to be another weapon for Tua. He'll have like Devontae Parker, and then if they draft him, Jamar Chase, and then they'll have Mike Gesicki at tight end, who is very, very underrated. I think he's a top 10 tight end in the NFL. So Jamar Chase, I wouldn't be surprised if they drafted Devontae Smith or even Jalen Waddle, but I'm going Jamar Chase here. All right, next pick, the Atlanta Falcons, Justin Fields. Now, I do not see Matt Ryan returning to the Falcons. He has done nothing since the Super Bowl, and I think Justin Fields is a very, very good quarterback coming out of this year's college football. I think this is their guy. I think that if he goes to the Falcons, I think Julio and Calvin Ridley are obviously the best wide receiver duo. Calvin Ridley is emerging into the number 1 receiver while Julio is dropping to number 2. I think they need to start young and fresh, and Justin Fields is a great option for him. Next pick, Penei Sewell going to the Cincinnati Bengals. This is a steal if Penei Sewell drops to the Cincinnati Bengals. I didn't do any stats because I don't really know how to put stats for linemen. I don't really think you guys would care anyway. But Penei Sewell going to the Cincinnati Bengals. This is an absolute steal to protect Joe Burrow. And people are saying, maybe Devontae Smith or if Jamar Chase falls, but I just don't see that because they have T. Higgins. They have Tyler Boyd, Tyler Boyd's probably one of the best slot receivers in the NFL. I don't know if they're gonna re-sign AJ Green, but like Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Juju Smith-Schuster, they're all coming out of free agency. So I think they're gonna take Penei Sewell. He is an absolute beast. He just bullies the defense. His highlights are fun to watch. For our next pick, the Philadelphia Eagles. Devontae Smith. I do not want to see Devontae Smith going to the Eagles because I am an Alabama fan. Alabama fan. I also like the Cowboys, so they're kind of division rivals. But I would still be happy for him. They were talking about how the Eagles like Trey Lance, but since they just traded Carson Wentz, I do think Jalen Hurts is going to be the starting QB next year. Devontae Smith, he was the Heisman Trophy winner, got hurt in the national championship. As you can see, he has 117 receptions for 1,856 yards, which with 23 touchdowns. And he also had a punt return touchdown. I forget who it was against, but he didn't even get touched. It was amazing to watch. He is so fun to watch if you pull up his highlights. He made that one-handed catch against LSU. You would think that Mac Jones was going to throw it out of the end zone so he doesn't get intentional grounding or anything, but he just went up and snagged it. Next pick, Rashawn Slater going to the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry for my dog barking. She's howling. But Rashawn Slater going to the Detroit Lions. They just traded for Jared Goff, and I think they're going to give him a shot. So I see Rashawn Slater going here unless they want to draft like Micah Parsons to build their defense again. But if you think about it, they'll have Jared Goff, that young running back, DeAndre Swift from last year's draft class, Kenny Golladay if they re-sign him. Who's that other receiver? I'm sorry. I forget. Kenny Golladay and you guys know it. I'm having a brain fart. Then they got TJ Hawkinson, who I think is a top 5 tight end. So if they just get a line, maybe sign Trent Williams. Yeah, Trent Williams is going to go to another team, I think. But get a young offensive lineman to protect Jared Goff, and then maybe you can trade some players, get some more draft picks. I don't know. This was a tough pick. I was struggling. I was scouting through all the players. I think it's going to be him, Micah Parsons, maybe, I don't know. But I think this is a good pick for them, obviously. Next pick, Carolina Panthers going with Trey Lance. I think they are absolute done with Teddy Bridgewater. Trey Lance, he only played one full season. As you see, it's 2019 stats again because he opted out. He did play one game, though, which was weird. I don't know why he played one game that opted out. But 2019, he had 28 passing touchdowns, 0 interceptions, which is very, very, very impressive. And, yeah, I think they're just going to rebuild. There was rumors that they called up the Texans and said they were going to give Teddy Bridgewater and Christian McCaffrey, and I think, was it 2 first-round picks? For Deshaun Watson, I think it was a rumor. I don't know if it actually happened. But if they don't get Deshaun Watson, I think they're going to take Trey Lance if he's still on the board. Or they'll trade up and try and get Justin Fields or Zach Wilson. Next pick, Khalid Farley. He did opt out again. He opted out. There's a lot of people that are going to go in the first round that opted out this season. Last year, he was the second best cornerback in college football, but he did not enter the draft last year. It was Jeff Okudah, Khalid Farley. As you can see, I put his career stats because I think it's better with corners, so you can kind of get an idea of how they play and stuff. But I think he's the best corner to come out of this year's draft class, and I really do mean it because in Alabama, Patrick Surtain is really, really good, but this guy was a beast in 2019. Interceptions, flying around, tackling, just really doing everything. Next pick, my last pick for 1 through 10, the Dallas Cowboys taking Patrick Surtain the second. I would much rather, or not much rather, I would rather them have Khalid Farley because they run a simple 4-3 cover 3 defense at Virginia Tech, and that's what and they Cowboys hired Dan Quinn, and that's what he runs. He ran it with the Legion of Boom, he ran it with the Falcons, um, and yeah, but they do press a lot at Alabama, so he's gonna have to adjust to Dan Quinn's defense. But yeah, that is my NFL mock draft picks 1 through 10. We'll see how it plays out. Obviously, I'm not gonna get them all right. I would be shocked if I got 4 right, even 3, because every time I do a mock draft, like last year, the Giants took who is it again? That you think Andrew Thomas or something when they could have taken like Jedrick Wills or Mekhi Becton. I had them taking Jedrick Wills, and they took like Andrew Thomas. But it is what it is. But yeah, I do see, obviously some teams are going to trade for first round picks. So there's going to be different teams in the top 10, in my opinion. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I may think about doing picks 11 through 20. And yeah, that is it. Thank you guys for watching, and let me know if you want to see picks 11 through 20.